Hello and welcome to the DashMoney YouTube channel. For today we'll be covering the first law of money. So this is episode 3 and it'll be part 1 of the 3 laws of money. So for today we'll be covering the first law of money, what it actually is. We'll be discussing what the irony of being the world's computer is and how smart contract platforms, how their use cases fail. And finally we're going to pivot into how Dash becomes money with the first law and how it's money and not smart contracts that are going to be the future. And finally, we're going to jump right into some Dapps and how I see adoption moving forward for Dash. So right into the first law of money, which is humility. And it's the humility to know what you are and to be what you are, or to know who you are and to be who you are. So to be money, you must be money. And you must know what money is if you want to be money. So it's the humility to accept what you are and to be what you are. So the first question you might ask yourself is, well, why is that the first law of money? And I think the best way I can show you this is by a counterexample. So you can understand with contrast why you have to be money and not something else. So let's jump right into the irony of being the world's computer. Now, I hope you enjoy irony because I find it fascinating. And you may think that I'm confused because these chains or tokens and these platforms are not trying to be money. Well, then this is for you. Because actually, money is the greatest computational engine, the greatest supercomputer, greatest network, greatest parallel processor, whatever words you want to use to describe it. Actually, money is the world's computer, and I want to show you why. So, I think people nowadays, if they think of the world's most processing largest unit, they're probably thinking like the internet. The internet has connected the most computers in the world, and therefore, it's the most powerful distribution of information and processing unit that we have. But actually, if you take it one step further, all those computers are actually just tools for people. And actually, the human mind is the most powerful computational engine in the universe. And if you think about it, it runs on an order of petaflops, which is just an incredibly, it's only matched by modern supercomputers, but it only runs on a small incandescent light bulb. So if you're thinking of 60 watt, think of 1/3 of a 60 watt light bulb. That's the energy it requires to run the greatest supercomputer in the universe, which is the human mind. Now, money, what that does is it connects all these supercomputers, which are people. And the way that it does that is with price through money, which is the highest form of communication. It's more foundational than language or culture. It's going to be price through money. Now, the human mind, which is the most incredible and powerful and efficient computer in the world, is going to be connected through money. And that's why the first law of money has to be humility. It's because the people that thought they were creating the world's computer, they thought they were creating something different. They thought they were making something new. But money, being one of the oldest use cases, because all of economics occurs through money. So economics is just human actions. Those human minds that are the most powerful and efficient computers in the world, all they're trying to do all day is order their wants and needs, and they're taking in all the information they have, and they're trying to figure out the most effective way to achieve it. And money is what brings and coordinates all those people together. And money is the most powerful, therefore, money becomes the most powerful computer there is. And it's the most powerful network there is. The only thing is, it's not new. And that's why you must have humility if you want to be money. Because it's actually a very old idea. In fact, it's really just, it's nothing new about it. And what people do when they try to not be money and they want to be something else, is simply they just obfuscate what they should be. And what is actually an extremely useful use case, which is money. It's actually the largest use case there is. So going right into how smart contract platforms, how their use cases fail, now that we understand that money is actually the world's computer. So this is why Ethereum, Cardano, Binance Chain, whatever kind of smart contract chain you want to think of. So let's look at a few of their use cases, and then we'll figure out that actually their use cases are going to fail. So if we start, I'll name a few. We have tokenization, we have NFTs, and we have DeFi. Now, DeFi I covered in episode 2, so you can watch episode 2 if you want to see those. So we're going to cover tokenization and NFTs. So for tokenization, just imagine that, okay, so we're going to have a product that essentially we can issue out and get money for, and then we're going to create this new chain. And what's this new chain used for? Oh, well, we can use it for creating new tokens. But didn't we just make our chain from a token of another chain? So essentially, they're just going to keep making themselves. Like, okay, well, we can now make tokens on this chain. well, what's this chain going to do? Oh, we're going to be able to make tokens on this chain. It's kind of just a self-defeating process. And if you take that tokenization, if you just want it to be a launching platform, well, then you're going to need to launch something off that platform. And it can't just be more platforms for launching from. So it kind of goes back to this turtles on turtles. It's a shell game all the way down. So that's tokenization. And then if we jump into NFTs, so non-fungible token. So they've taken the idea, there's a thing in money that's called scarcity, and you want to have scarcity. Now they're going to say, well, let's just make it the most scarce thing there is. Well, if you make a single use item, it's not money anymore, because essentially, for having money, you have to have enough of it to facilitate the trade between everyone. But when you have just one item, essentially you're just taking the idea of scarcity to its complete limit. You're just trying to take scarcity because that's a concept of money, and you know that it has value. You want to take that to its extreme, and that's how you come up with NFTs. And so then I've kind of come up with another idea for NFTs. There's two ways to think about things in the world. There's money, and then there's NFTs. And you can kind of think of NFTs as barcode technology. Now, barcodes are incredible, but that's kind of like what it is. Because if money is going to facilitate exchange between people, NFTs are just objects that people have value that people are going to use. But the thing about NFTs is they have to be attached to something. So like when people think, okay, we need to create NFTs that like have value attached to them. So like it gives you permission to use this thing, or like this is like attached to like a physical object. That's how this NFT has value. Well, then it's not really the NFT. The NFT is just kind of like it's a barcode for it. It's just like, oh, this is what this thing is. But it's the actual object or the actual use behind the NFT that has value. Now, money, which is going to facilitate the exchange of all those objects, and then makes NFTs is just kind of like a wrapping for whatever it is. So these smart contract use cases are really, they're just kind of taking ideas that are money. So to make this point clear, no matter what new idea they come up with for smart contract chains, they're really only just creating a distorted shadow of money or a property of money. So for people that are trying to come up with use cases for smart contracts and trying to avoid being money, it's like you're searching your entire house for your phone and your phone's in your pocket the whole time. They're trying to like recreate pieces and ideas of money without ever actually being money. So it's very frustrating, but it's also kind of fascinating that's kind of like where we're at. We're trying all these ideas, but there's the one idea, the old idea, the idea that's never going to change, that will always be needed. Money. So now I want to shift in how Dash becomes money with the first law. So this might come across as confrontational. You could say I'm wrong, but I'm just trying to convince you of another way. And I think that the other way is going to be better. Pursue that, we're going to have success. And I think Dash is big enough. So here I go. So right now we displayed the Dash platform plans for 2023, which is the NFTs, tokenization, smart contract chains. So I'm thinking the way forward is not with smart contracts, but is to become money. And the way I can illustrate this is just by giving you an example. So if you ever ask, or if there's ever an interview, or you hear, or you read on Twitter, and they ask, so when is Dash going to incorporate smart contracts in the platform? Just know that whoever that is, they don't understand. They don't understand money. Because smart contracts and all their use cases have already sucked the value from the investors. And so really we're just rebuilding old technology. Like those use cases, people have already got the money out of it, and they're not really using them anymore. So we don't want to be stuck in something that other chains have already done. We want to make something new. No one's tried money. We should become money. And what I want to get into right now is how I see Dash becoming money. So I'm not just going to be critiquing like, oh, these are the wrong things to do, but I want to show you, well, how do we become money? What kind of path forward do we need to reach? What kind of path forward do we need to take? And so I'm just going to go through a few of my Dapp ideas and how from Dapps we'll get the user experience, and we'll also create the peer-to-peer network so that people can start building the actual real-world network that I covered in episode 1. So the first two Dapp ideas that I covered in episode 1, but I'll recover them again just real quick. So after Dash Pay, which will be the original app, there's the Dash Get Paid app. And this Dash Get Paid app is essentially, it facilitates internet commerce. And what I mean, When I mean it just facilitates it, it's not a marketplace. So just imagine you'll get on like a Craigslist or a Facebook marketplace, and in the description you'll have the name of the person, and it'll be like at Bob on Dash Get Paid. And what Dash Get Paid does is essentially it just facilitates the communication so that they can talk to each other. It might have a seller rating, and then it may be able to give them the address if it's like a product that needs to be shipped. So it's just like a way to facilitate internet commerce. And it's really nothing more than that. But I think it's a necessity for, if we're going to be able to pay people, we need to be able to get paid. That way we can build a peer-to-peer network. Now for Dash Cashier, it removes the cashier. So like if there's a place you want to go eat, then what will happen is you can just pull up Dash Cashier from where you're eating at, and then you'll have the menu, and then you can order off the menu, and then the cooks in the back, they'll see that you ordered what you ordered, and then they'll make it, and then when they're ready, they'll say, hey, your order's ready. And essentially you'll have paid before they see your order, and so they see you paid, they'll make your order, and essentially there's no cashier in the whole process. So essentially you'll be saving money. Now for these new dApps, the first one is Dash Events. Now I kind of sketched this one out with a simpler idea, like a Dash Cookout, where like, hey, you can invite your friends and family over, you can be like, oh, hey, I'm going to be making hot dogs and hamburgers, and hot dogs will be 50 cents and hamburgers will be $1 or something like that, whatever the equivalent is in Dash. And then like, hey, or they can just be like, oh yeah, I'll be attending, but I don't want to eat, or something like that. It's just to facilitate, people working together in groups. And it doesn't even have to be like a cookout or anything. It could be like, hey, we're going to be going out to the movies, or it could be like, or it could almost be something like scheduling, like, hey, there's going to be we're going to have a tour. It could actually be a business. It doesn't actually have to be individuals. And the business can like put up in Dash Events, hey, we're going to be doing these tours on Thursday and Friday. And then like people can see like, oh, hey, I just want to add, and then they'll add themselves to the event. And that way the people know how many people are going to be there, and they'll get paid because they'll be right in the app. So I think Dash Events has the scope of that could be a lot larger than just what your immediate network. It could actually be, opens up to businesses, but essentially that use case, for events and bookings and anything like that, where you're going to facilitate it with money. I think that could be a very powerful use case that could bring people together. The other one is Dash Checkout. So this is just like a self-serve checkout. So like while you're shopping in a store, you'll just come in and you can scan the barcode, and then essentially you can pay on your phone. And then when you're leaving, they just might have somebody that'll just check the receipt on your phone, and then they see what you have, and they're like, yep, you're good to go. And then there's no more checkout lines. So you're saving time, and you're going to be saving money because there's not going to be people at the cashier or the checkout people. So you're saving time, you're saving money. And then the last one is just kind of a simple thing, Dash Auto Pay, or maybe even a payment reminder. So like if you're going to have a monthly, expense, it could be your phone, or it could be rent or something, and you just have it on your phone that says, oh, now I'm not sure if we can facilitate just like the auto pay, because you have to get your permission to actually take the money out of your wallet. But if you could just get a pay reminder, like, hey, it's the first, okay, I need to send these things. And that way, essentially, it makes it easier for you. You don't have to remember every time. And you're essentially going to be, okay, I got it scheduled, I won't forget. And essentially, it's going to help you. So now that you've seen some of the DashMoney Dapp ideas, and there's a lot more Dapp ideas out there, but I just want to try to bring the whole picture together. So Dash Platform is where there's going to be a bunch of new apps and mini Dapps. And Dapps is what's going to bring in the entrepreneurs. And because, like money, which is not a new use case, Dapps don't need to be new ideas about how to use money. People in the marketplace have so many numerous ideas of how to use money, and Dash just needs to create the Dapps to facilitate it, to facilitate the use of money, the use of Dash. So that's where Dapps come in, and that's why I think it's important. And I don't think the entrepreneurs on the Dapps, they're not going to be software developers. They don't need to be coders. We can just teach entrepreneurs how to use the Dapps through the videos. And the Dapps, which are essentially just facilitating how people use money, and people already know how to use money. So we can integrate all these people quickly. So I just want to wrap it up with DashMoney, with its Dapps, is going to create the Dash user network and that Dash user experience. And it's going to be the Dapps that get that done. Now, I may have gone a little bit too far here, and I just want to come back and try to explain. So when I say don't make smart contracts, now some people might be thinking, well, to make these Dapps that you want to create, we actually need smart contracts. But if But I think what I want to say is, if we're going to do smart contracts, that should kind of be in the background, and that the Dapps should be in the foreground. So let's say there is kind of solution, or one of these Dapps actually needs to have smart contract capabilities to actually complete it. Well, what I would say is, let's create 1,000 Dapps, and we'll figure out which Dapps are actually useful. Instead of creating one truly perfectly decentralized Dapp, we'll make 1,000 of them that they could be centralized, and then we'll see if they work, and then we can actually decentralize them later. So I just want to get testing out there, see what actually works, and that way we don't have to spend another 4 or 5 years, getting something out there that people can use. So wrapping this back all up, the first law of money, which is humility, and that money is not new. Everyone knows what money is. Dash will create Dapps, and the entrepreneurs and the users will use the Dapps, and they'll create the peer-to-peer network. And Dash provides that utility because it's providing money. So really I just want to wrap it up, and I want to say, don't walk down the same old paths that other smart contract platforms have used. We want to create a new trail, blaze a new path. Finish what Satoshi started. Create peer-to-peer electronic cash. Create a new form of money and change the world. Make Dash money.